right, here we are, Talk of the Walk podcast. Another episode. We got the lawnmower in the back. It's kind of dying down. That's kind of someone walking behind us already. Just started right off real quick. Thanks for listening, everybody. There are some things about mental health that I would like to discuss, especially for people who listen to this and go, "This isn't even about mental health. You guys are just telling stories." Yeah, we're telling stories because it eases our troublesome minds. But there are avenues and things that help if you are dealing with mental health issues. What was one that you just mentioned, Shaun?
I came across it from another podcast, and again, they were, going off a sponsorship, but at the same time, I, know where you're at with certain things, and even me potentially. Everybody has issues now and then. So I mean, even if a sponsor could kick for us, I think especially seeing that we tote ourselves that we talk about mental health. There's an app called the BetterHelp app.
H-E-L-P?
H-E-L-P.
BetterHelp app. Okay.
And apparently you can get a hold of a counselor. It's relatively cheap. Okay. I mean, depending on, what cheap is to you. Yeah. I think it was, it said $40 to $70 a month, something along those lines. But they also have type of financial aid. And again, I guess it's not a helpline, but if you need to maybe talk to a counselor or somebody to get some things off your chest.
So it's a counselor, it's a therapy kind of thing. It's a counseling, maybe a psychiatrist or a therapist that you actually
it's almost
see on
like
a regular
self-help.
basis. Self-help, okay.
And again, it's going to be all online and whatnot. I don't know all
maybe
the details.
Zoom call here or there.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know all the details, but again, it's a resource.
I'll look into that, and I'll see, and maybe even in the description, I'll try, even if not on this episode, I'll bring it up in another one. One thing I'll like to mention is that there are what they call sliding scale therapists, so to speak. There's one out of California, I think it's called Hope University, and what it is, in my opinion, I might be wrong, but it's like therapists and psychiatrists in training that are like on their last year of their masters.
Gotcha.
That have to kind of put in a certain amount of session hours.
Like doing a rotation type of thing. Yeah.
So maybe a fellowship kind of thing. They have to put in a certain amount of hours, and so they're pretty affordable. We're talking like free to $5 a session, sliding scale based on how much you make. And if you sign up or apply or accepted, whatever it is, you could get weekly therapy sessions, counseling sessions to talk about whatever issues you want.
It's like getting a haircut from a salon academy.
yeah, that's kind of what it is. I hear what you're saying. That's a good analogy. So those are just little things to touch on real quick. Any topics about what's going on in your daily world? Any stories you'd like to share?
No, just feeling a bit better than yesterday.
Good.
Again, why? Couldn't give you an answer.
Manic depressive.
Oh, yeah,
no, I know.
Doing the same grind. Worked last night. Got up early. Not early. Normal time. Lived life. Ate dinner. Took a shower. Got up. Went to work.
Same thing you did the last 48 hours.
Same thing lasted 48 hours.
Yeah.
And again, am I faking it, or is it things are better? Nah, just it's the same. It's what I said before. It's perception. It's in how you want to view it.
I believe that it's perception.
Not even like.
But there's some chemical thing going on where yesterday something triggered a response that was more like, ugh, I'm in the rut, and then today that didn't happen, and you're like, things aren't so bad.
Again, maybe on a slight subconscious level, I'm like, why am I just so damn miserable? Stop it. Almost like an internal monologue, or dialogue, kind of like going, dude, you're not getting anywhere by being a dick. Yeah. Just stop it. So maybe, but again, it wasn't a conscious like, I'm gonna make today a great day. We can go wherever, we can go another circle.
It was fun.
Yeah, it wasn't like I'm gonna make today a great day. It was just, it feels better.
It feels better today.
And again, if anybody out there, you're gonna have your ups and your downs. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, there's always gonna be those days, and I think that's what when you really want to focus on mental health is when you haven't had an up day in months. Yeah. Maybe possibly years. Okay. When your up days don't even are not days, they're minutes.
Minutes.
Yeah.
Like I said yesterday, laughing at one moment.
And on a podcast in your ear, that's
24 hours of misery, and then 10 seconds like, ha, that was good.
Now,
okay, back to shit.
Not necessarily a story, but in my life, as I again continue to seek employment, one avenue I've looked at for possible employment, anyone who's going through the whole pending felony, or you have a conviction of a felony, and whatever the situation.
Well, let's even just say like you've been laid off because of the pandemic. I mean, people went through shit like that. Yeah.
Mom and pop places that are trying to reestablish their business, small restaurants, cafes, such like that. They have a better, for me anyway, system of employment because they're gonna do less due diligence maybe to try to get staffing, and that might work in my favor. So that's an avenue that I'm seeking.
That's not like you're trying to dupe them. It's just you're having a hard time anyway. So.
But anyone who has this like, all right, we're gonna put your name through the system, and then this company out of California does their own independent background check, and you have to pay for that. Someone's paying for that. That's set up somehow, and some people aren't set up to do that. They literally, maybe I'm old school, but they have you come in, fill out an application, they sit at a table across from you, they interview you, they might even be an owner of the company, and if they feel a good vibe,
pull the trigger.
You're hired. We need staff, So there's that. One thing I was wondering, what do you think the people who have, oh look at that, Jesus, dear, have been diagnosed, survived COVID-19, what do you think some of their problems are that they're going to have within the 1st to 5th year of life going on forward? Because I hear that there's like everlasting effects of that.
Long term, again, it could be circumstantial, it could be I can't think of the right word. Specific.
Okay.
For each person.
So, I'm not saying this is me, but in a hypothetical situation, if I keep gassing out on these walks when before I wasn't, is that because I'm actually going backwards in physique, or am I just having like a shortness of breath? like what's going on?
Okay, the humidity here is just ridiculous.
Okay.
And you're putting on weight because my wife's feeding you really well.
That's the truth.
It slows you down.
Hey, that's way better than feeling like I have some long-term effect from the coronavirus. That's way better thinking. Okay. What about you? Are you less winded? Do you feel like you're
I'm not. I don't feel like I'm losing any weight. Like I said, we started this for physical health, and turned into kind of a little of both. Yeah, I'm not doing good.
My knees hurt. You got my knees.
I haven't lost any weight. I tell you what, though, I sweat like a bucket of sweat every day I get home. It's the humidity, though, too.
That's it. Okay.
But I'm like, if I haven't lost a pound in water weight at the very least, what am I doing this for?
Well, that is a good thing to say. What am I doing this for? No, I mean, not just this walk, not the podcast, not just why you're going to work. That is almost one of the underlining or like umbrella themes of all this is, what am I doing this for?
Oh, the existential question. Why are we here?
Why are we here? What am I doing this for? And I think on other times we talked about the struggle of finding what you're doing this for if you're not planning for something in the future. So is there anything that you feel like you're doing today because you have this goal in the future, or are you just going through your day-to-day because you have to, you've committed, you're like obligated to ensure that you do this day in, day out? The two major long-term goals that I see, well, three if you count each of my kids individually, are for them, save for them, prepare them for adulthood and college if they want to, or getting into a workforce with a decent paying job, or even like a trade school for my son or my daughter, or something that I can help support them or jump off to become a productive adult. You want your kids to get some kind of education that makes it so that when in 18 plus years or whatever, even sooner for obviously your daughter, when they're 18 plus, they're like, all right, well, I do this is what I do, and I like and I enjoy it, and it's interesting to me. Like you said, you do something interesting.
I want them to go out, and hell, if my daughter wants to backpack through Europe for 2 years, right, just to quote unquote find herself, sure, go ahead. Like, I want to be able to support that dream, this moment of trying to find yourself.
It's okay to be lost and confused trying to find yourself, right?
Yeah, but then at some point you gotta buckle down and grow up.
You better hope you found what you were looking for, right? Because there is a question, like, you can always make it, go find yourself. I didn't get to find myself. I was working and by the time finding myself, you mean finding my bank account, finding my, Yeah,
but I don't, and I love my kids. I never want them to leave, but I don't want them living at my house when they're 30 either.
No.
So it's like, you got to find this balance of push and pull,
Yeah.
Like, I'm pushing you to get out of my house, but I don't want you to go. How do you do that?
Yeah, you're always welcome here.
Yeah.
Hopefully you already have a place that you've made your own, but don't worry, you're always welcome here.
Oh, obviously.
I hear that. How old were you when you became independent, like out of the house kind of
here's the third thing real quick to answer your question is myself in retirement, right? So prepare my kids for the future, but prepare myself for my future. Be able to maybe get to a point in my life where I'm not working. And I don't see that happening. Like
the guy we saw a guy with a boat. We went kayaking, and it was zen. We had like this nice little kayak, and it was hard on my back. But at the end, there was a guy who was just kind of washing down his boat or like wheeling out, and we both kind of thought, like, what did he do, or what has he done, or why does he get there? And I just went up to him and I was like, "Hey, sir, nice to meet you. How you doing? I was just wondering, are you retired?" Just point blank, like, and he said yes.
I said he was late 60s, probably.
Late 60s. Yeah. He said he was retired. He said he worked all his life in a machine shop, if I heard it correctly. Yep. A machine shop, and he owned a boat before, but this is the best boat he's owned, and he was coddling it like a baby. It seemed like he was very proud.
His day in the lake.
It was just him. There was no he said sometimes he takes his grandson on the boat. Yep. So it kind of represents that he might be a family man of some sort, right? Maybe a wife, or at least at some point had kids, and who had kids. So that is an inspiration to you to see that type of individual
maybe,
and go.
Like I said, maybe that was his bliss. That was his retirement plan. Get a boat and enjoy a random Tuesday on the lake.
Now, we had no clue what that guy was going to say.
Oh, of course not.
He could have said, "My parents bought me or left me tons of buckets of money." He could, he could have said anything, but his story, he happened to say he worked his whole life in a machine shop.
Yeah, and again, it was a 2-minute conversation.
Seems noble though, right? Seems like, and
I worked hard,
and this is what I got out of it. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people who are working, working in their jobs or day to day, or just trying to figure out why are they here. Some of them are here to find their own little place in the sun. It might not be the Bill Gates life that they look at, but like you said, if you're trying to keep up with the Jeffersons,
the Joneses,
the Jeffersons are trying to keep up with the Joneses. The Joneses are trying to keep up with the Kardashians. The Kardashians are trying to keep up with the Smiths. You can always keep going, I suppose, but it's important to realize where you are. Again,
I'm no therapist. I'm no psychologist by any means, but I always think it's a really good idea to set goals, to set sightly. Check that out real quick. Anyway, it's really important to set goals and work towards them. You know what I mean? Even if it's short term, long term, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a dream, but just at least have a vision of what what are you doing this for?
Yeah. If I had to guess, obviously my 3 things would be each one of my kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, there is a part of it that's me. Like, hey, I would like to, but most of what I like to do is just to get back on my feet. So it's not like I'm working for retirement. I'm working to stabilize a world where when my girls are more cognitively there, they don't look at me and go, "What's wrong with you?" They go, "Oh, here's stable daddy." So that's kind of where I'm on my goal, my day-to-day, getting out of bed and not letting my mental health affect me too much, is knowing that there's people relying on me to better their lives. So, man. No story? I thought you had stories.
Nothing good. I got a good one about how I almost killed my friend, but I don't think it fits into this cast right at the moment. Maybe I like to try to have it wedge in a little story that.
Well, I feel like you got to share it now that you even mentioned it.
Nah, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. We'll save it for another day. Another teaser.
Okay.
There you go.
The next one will be teasing about how I almost killed your friend. I don't have anything like that. Jesus, you almost killed your friend. It makes me scared to walk next to you. Oh man,
a little bit hidden rage. No, it's not even that good of a story. But.
No, I had. Here's a quick story about, and it has nothing. I'm talking about random stuff. This is just a random story. The first fight I ever got into. Okay, first fight I ever got into. I don't know why you talking about friends and everything. It was this kid. I believe his name was Clayton, and it was like 3rd grade. And I told on him in class because we were friends. But he wasn't letting me play with his toys. I'm pretty sure it was like Mortal Kombat action figures that he had, like a Scorpion and Sub-Zero little action figures, and he was just like playing with them. And I was like, I want to play. Hey, let me see it. And he's like, yeah, these are mine. And I was like, you know, teacher, he has toys. So she took them, and he was mad.
You narked on him.
I knocked right on him, and so after school, he wanted to talk to me about it or fight me about it or something, right? And I don't remember the whole thing. I just remember being face to face with him, a little taller than me because I'm kind of short in stature. And what happened?
Don't get hit.
And what happened was I swung my backpack into his stomach, and he probably lost his air. Now that I think about it, like he just grabbed his belly, and then I punched him in the face. And it probably wasn't the hardest punch. It didn't knock him out. It didn't KO him or anything. But it was enough for me to realize I did something bad. And I ran behind like one of those things that they store PE equipment in, those big like containers. I ran behind it and started crying because I was like, I'm gonna be in so much trouble. And then we got pulled into the principal's office, and I told my side. He told his side, and the principal essentially said, well, your friends, shake on it, let this be squashed. And us 3rd graders went on our separate ways.
Anyway.
So,
well, since you talked about fighting a friend, I might as well go down that road. One of my first fights, right? I was in middle school, like 7th grade maybe. And this kid was a known bully. And I had a little tear in my shirt. I don't know what, you know, it's an older shirt or whatever.
Is that you're poor? And then...
And he reaches up and he just makes it a huge freaking hole. And I turn around immediately and I try to knee him in the groin. And he blocks me. I don't know what I'm doing. And he just takes me by the shoulders and shoves me hard as hell into the wall. And that was it. That's the end of the fight.
Okay.
Right? But I'm like scared of this kid for the rest of, you know, middle school.
Because he got in the 4 seconds that took, he got like the upper hand maybe.
So again, that's not really the whole interesting part of the story.
Okay.
We had a beautiful yellow lab. His name was Cody, and we had him for close to 10 years. He was getting old. He had bad hip. You know, was whining whenever he's laying around. It was time to let him go and help him out and put him down, you know. And we took him to the Humane Society, and I had to hand my best friend, my dog, over to the bully, who was the dog killer who put them in the freaking furnace to cremate them.
Really?
Yeah, so that tells you
his job?
It tells you his mentality. Yeah. I murder animals for a living.
And get paid for it now.
I handed my dog over to the bully that, like, you know, knocked me down.
And this is years later then, right?
Many years later. And it's like, God damn, that hurt.
And he knew too, maybe?
I don't think I registered on his, you know, his bully meter because he was busy.
Life is short, or not life is short, the world is small, or small world, you know?
I mean, it was a small community where I grew up, so it's not like it was a complete surprise that I ran into him. Just, that was the job that the bully got. He's killing dogs. And then, here's my best friend, I didn't want to let him, yeah, here you go.
Oh, that's actually kind of dark, man. That's I did not see that coming. I did not see that coming. It wasn't just about the fight. It was about the person you fought and what they became later on, and how that affected you.
And he killed my dog.
He killed. He ripped my shirt. And he killed my dog.
I mean, it was the right decision to put the dog down. He was misery,
but man.
But to hand him over, I mean, literally, here's his leash. In his hand. Man, that was rough.
Now, I'm just piggybacking on your story just because we have about 2 minutes more. I lost a dog, golden retriever, probably, maybe a mutt of it, but it was golden anyway. And that's a hard thing.
Oh,
that is such a hard thing to do when they've been in there since a puppy. You know, like if your dog had 13 plus years in your life, and you're watching the dog get sick or the dog's in pain, and you just want your dog to make it, but you got to realize that a dog's lifespan's not that of a human.
Exactly.
And
you got to make that call.
Yeah. So I never had to make the call. The dog just unfortunately went outside and chose a spot and said, here's my final resting place.
Done.
Yeah. But I remember crying, just like little baby.
Oh,
like,
it ruins you.
When I found out, cried as if it was, I mean, and it kind of is. Like
a family member. Yeah.
A family member. So, you know, they're different, you know, tie it back to mental health real quick. There's different things that happen when you lose someone you care about, and that someone doesn't have to be a person. It can actually be an animal, and it can actually be because of it's about the investment you made into that thing.
I mean, even if it's a goldfish that you care for, you know?
That could be true too.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be significant. I mean, loss is loss, and here we are, you know, tying everything together. It was just kind of I got a random story. Yeah. And you tie it into, you know, you lose something important in your life, and I don't know.
I mean, I think today's walk was more about the exercise than the getting out and making sure we actually did a walk today than it was about the talk. But the talk went this way. It had, I mean, it's not like we script it. We just go and start talking about things, and
well, I tell you what,
came into stories, you know?
Again, like, we're not professionals here by any means. But damn it, I think we do a good job. You know? I mean, this is a pat on the back for myself, you know?
Yeah.
And you said, you know, what would make you feel happy about this podcast? And I said, just getting a response, like one email. I'll share.
Did you see the response?
No.
Oh, our last one had a
well,
different, different sorry, I mean, I need to give these shout outs.
Oh, you said there was a guy from France, right?
There was a listener from France. I don't know if it was a guy or girl, to be honest, but there was a listener from France, and I know there's one that either they speak Korean or they're Japanese. I got to be more specific about what this person, their caricatures. Their caricatures are kanjis, I believe it's called, or some form of that. So there's different people from different, you know, places that are outside of America that have at least given it a listen. Maybe they just stumbled upon it on Spotify, said, what is this American bullshit? And went, I don't like it. I can't even understand what they're saying. Or they did and went, thumbs up, you know? So
even better.
So that is something, you know, a thumbs up is, to me, is a compliment.
Well, in this day and age.
Because you could give a thumbs down just as easy.
True.
You know, and
like and subscribe.
And there's always going to be more. Is that coming at us?
No, they're okay. They're cool.
Is that really coming at me right now?
Right.
That was a dog coming at me.
Go! Wow, that was intense.
I got that.
Go!
Whoa!
Wow! I almost got my leg bit off.
Dude, I'm sitting there watching them. Is that really coming out? Okay,
I thought they were gonna be okay.
You could do your sign off. Okay, so what just happened real quick?
Okay, real
dogs
quick.
were.
And this is my neighbor's dogs, and I've seen these dogs before, so that's all right.
Woo! So what you're listening to right now is a lady calling in her dogs. She made a noise. You'll probably, if you hear this, I mean, this is the live stuff you catch sometimes. These two dogs started bolting at us. When you hear me all calmly going, is this happening right now?
Yeah, we're okay.
And it sounds like that. That's these two dogs running from a distance directly at us. Then they get super close, so you probably heard what happened. And I back up, and Sean pulls out his leg. He lifts up his leg like, take it, just take it.
No, I was lifting up my leg. I'm gonna kick this dog in the face. And I don't believe in hurting animals. You know?
That was caught. We just caught that. So if anything, this is the episode where there's a dog attack. Dogs attack us. I'm gonna definitely put that into the description.
Dogs attack.
Anything else you want to say?
I guess that's it. We're back at the house here. It's safe and sound without you know, pieces of flesh missing. So if you want to go fast, run from dogs. Now, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Cock of the Walk Podcast.
Hey, this is Brendan from Cock of the Walk Podcast. If you like what you heard, you can support us just by sharing the link. That's the most important thing, is to get the word out. If you want to go beyond that, you can do donations. You can become a member and subscribe, or you can even buy some merch. You can find us at www.halfmoonday.com. We are a Half Moon Day LLC production. You can also reach us directly with comments, questions, or topics you want us to discuss at cockofthewalkpodcast@gmail.com or cockofthewalkpodcast@aol.com. We also have a Facebook, and you can find us on YouTube under the Half Moon Day page. On behalf of myself and Shaun, thank you very much for tuning in. We know there's a lot of podcasts out there, and we appreciate your time. Have a good day.